There's a place in Antarctica where school children play outside in minus 20 degrees Celsius. Another where wind turbines power a base with zero emissions. And another still built entirely on moving ice designed to walk away before it breaks apart. This isn't science fiction, it's the real hidden architecture of the most dangerous continent on Earth. Over 70 stations dot this frozen desert. Some are military assets in disguise. Some are ghost towns buried in snow. Others are pushing the limits of engineering in ways the public has never seen. And today, we're going to show you all of them. We'll start with the newest additions, Argentina's Hospital on Ice, Norway's rock-solid hub, and New Zealand's struggling megaproject. Then we'll take you deeper, from South Pole telescopes to China's rising Antarctic empire. This is every Antarctic station explained in one video. Argentina's base Petrel is not just another station. It's being rebuilt right now into the country's most advanced Antarctic outpost. Petrel is located on Dundee Island, near the tip of the Antarctic Peninsula. The new station will be made from 300 tons of steel, forming an 800 square meter modular structure. Every component was prefabricated and shipped from Argentina, then assembled in phases, with foundations laid in one season and walls rising the next. And it's not just the buildings that are getting an upgrade. Base Petrel is being designed as a multimodal logistics hub. It will have 2 landing strips, one for fixed-wing aircraft and one for helicopters, plus a dock for marine transport. But the real innovation? Petrel will include Antarctica's first full hospital module. When something goes wrong on this continent, help isn't hours away. It could be days, even weeks, depending on weather. Having on-site emergency care, including surgical capability, could literally save lives. The station is also designed with sustainability in mind. It will include a massive solar array, 800 square meters of panels producing around 50 kilowatts of renewable power. Argentina is already one of the biggest players in Antarctica, operating more research stations than any other country, 13 in total. If Argentina is building the continent's most advanced logistics hub, Chile's Villa Las Estrellas is about building for everyday life. This isn't just a research station, it's one of only 2 civilian settlements in all of Antarctica. Located on King George Island, Villa Las Estrellas was inaugurated in 1984 and forms part of Chile's base President Eduardo Frei Montalva. What makes it unique isn't its size or technology, it's the community. Families live here, children go to school. There's a hospital, a church, a post office, even a souvenir shop. The station includes 14 prefabricated homes, each around 90 square meters, built for year-round use. All of them sit on gravel pads and feature full insulation for livability rather than just survival. Covered walkways connect many of the buildings, creating a walkable town atmosphere, something unheard of elsewhere on the continent. Villa Las Estrellas also includes basic infrastructure you'd expect in any town: a school with satellite internet, a bank branch, a radio station, and limited TV reception. There's even a policy that all long-term residents must have their appendix removed before arrival, because if something goes wrong, evacuation isn't guaranteed. And while no major construction is happening here today, Villa Las Estrellas remains a symbol of Chile's long-standing Antarctic presence. Chile currently operates 9 stations across Antarctica, since 4 are considered shelters, more than any country besides Argentina. But this one is still the most unique. While Chile built a rare Antarctic town focused on community life, New Zealand is rethinking what a modern research station can be. Just a few kilometers from the massive US McMurdo base, Scott Base is being completely rebuilt from the ground up to become one of the most advanced, sustainable facilities on the continent. Originally built in 1957 for the Commonwealth Trans-Antarctic Expedition, the base started as a cluster of green wooden huts. You heard it right, wood. But by 2019, it was clear that Scott Base needed more than just upgrades, it needed a complete redesign. That year, New Zealand unveiled an ambitious plan, a brand new base made of 3 massive prefabricated modules built entirely back home, then shipped to Antarctica for assembly. The goal was bold: to create one of the most energy-efficient, future-proof stations ever built on the continent. Cost overruns, logistical risks, and safety concerns forced a total rethink. The revised design, announced in May 2025, will use smaller container-sized modules and some conventional framing built on site. It's a more flexible approach, one that ditches the mega-project mindset for something more manageable. The new Scott base will include a modern accommodation and living building, a refurbished Hillary Field Center for science support, and potentially a third building for workshops and machinery. Some of the current structures will be upgraded rather than replaced entirely. The timeline? Construction hasn't started yet, but the goal is to have the new base operational by the 2028-29 season. That's a long way off, but in Antarctica, where building seasons are short and the environment is unforgiving, it's realistic. In the meantime, the current Scott base continues to operate. It supports around 85 people in summer and just over a dozen in winter. It's powered in part by wind turbines installed in 2009 that have already cut diesel use by 11%. The new base is expected to expand that system even further. If most Antarctic stations are fighting to stay above the snow, Troll Station is the rare case that doesn't have to. Located 1,270 meters above sea level in Queen Maud Land, Troll is built on something incredibly rare in Antarctica: exposed rock. It sits on a bare nunatak, a rocky outcrop that rises above the ice. That makes the station incredibly stable and removes one of the biggest engineering headaches in Antarctica: snow burial. No jacking systems, no constant digging out, just solid, grounded infrastructure. The station itself was built using prefabricated modules shipped from Norway and assembled on site. It opened in 1990 as a summer-only outpost, but was upgraded in 2005 for year-round use. Today, it operates with a full winter crew despite temperatures dropping to minus 60 degrees Celsius and winds reaching up to 200 kilometers per hour. Troll's location isn't just a convenience, it's a strategic asset. Right next to the station is Troll Airfield, a 3,000-meter blue ice runway that supports large aircraft year-round. That runway makes Troll the logistical hub for an international air network called Drumlan, which links together research stations across Queen Maud Land with coordinated flights and shared operations. Power comes from a combination of diesel generators and wind turbines, helping reduce fuel dependency and emissions. Snow is melted for water, and systems are in place to monitor usage and recycle waste. The station supports a wide range of science, from glaciology and meteorology to atmospheric research and environmental monitoring. Norway has even outfitted Troll with advanced air quality sensors and climate instruments to track long-term environmental changes over the region. And one last touch of character? The station is named after mythical trolls from Norwegian folklore, fitting for a station that stands so firm against one of the harshest environments on Earth. Now here's a station with one of the most interesting backstories in Antarctica. Ukraine's Vernadsky Research Base was originally built by the British in 1947 as Faraday Station. In 1996, the UK transferred the entire facility to Ukraine for the symbolic price of £1 British pound. Located on Galindez Island, the station consists of 9 interconnected buildings built on rock foundations. The main building is a 2-story structure measuring 26.5 by 11.5 meters, designed to house 24 people comfortably. But here's what makes Vernadsky truly unique. It houses the Faraday Bar, which claims to be the southernmost bar in the world. After spending months in one of the most isolated places on Earth, having a place to unwind becomes more than just a luxury, it's essential for mental health. The station also features specialized facilities like a non-magnetic laboratory for geomagnetic research and balloon launch facilities for atmospheric studies. All the buildings are raised on supports to prevent snow accumulation, and the entire complex maintains continuous meteorological and ozone research that's been ongoing since 1947. Turkey's entry into Antarctic research represents something we're seeing more and more: nations designing their stations from the ground up with sustainability as the primary focus. The Turkish Antarctic Research Station, or TARS, is currently being built on Horseshoe Island, with a completely different philosophy. The design calls for a two-phase modular station that emphasizes renewable energy and recyclable materials. Every component is being manufactured in Turkey as prefabricated modules that can be assembled on site, then potentially disassembled and relocated if needed. What's particularly interesting is their commitment to wind and solar power from day one. Most Antarctic stations start with diesel generators and add renewable energy later, but Turkey is building sustainability into the foundation of their program. The station is designed to accommodate 50 people when complete, though they're starting with smaller containerized modules for 8 people. Turkey is one of the newest nations to establish an Antarctic presence, and their approach shows how modern engineering thinking is changing the way we build in extreme environments. For the next 2 stations, we have something unique. Finland and Sweden have created what's essentially a twin station complex called the Nordenskjöld Base Camp. Their stations, Aboa and Wasa, sit just 200 meters apart on Basin Nunatak. At 480 meters above sea level in Queen Maud Land, these 2 stations function as a single cooperative facility. Both stations are built on snow-free rock foundations, which provide stability and prevents the constant battle against snow accumulation. Finland's Aboa station was designed by VTT Technical Research Centre as a modular facility that's been continuously upgraded since 1988. The original 120 square metre building now includes prefabricated accommodation units, workspaces and, yes, a finished sauna complete with shower and laundry facilities. They've also added solar panels and a small wind turbine to reduce their environmental impact. Sweden's Vasa station complements this with its own specialised facilities. The main building sits on 1.5 metre steel stilts and uses fibre-reinforced plastic panels on a steel frame for maximum insulation. Next comes Pakistan, whose Antarctic story is both inspiring and challenging. Their Jinnah Antarctic Station was established in 1991, delivered by the Pakistan Navy ship PNS Babur in what must have been one of the most ambitious naval missions in Pakistani history. The station consists of basic prefabricated modules designed for summer-only operation in the Sohrondane Mountains. While simple compared to some of the megabases we've discussed, Jinnah Station represents something important: proof that Antarctic research doesn't require massive budgets. Pakistan actually established multiple facilities during their early expeditions, including Jinnah 2 and the Iqbal Observatory. The engineering approach focused on mobility and flexibility rather than permanent infrastructure. While these stations operate on a seasonal basis with basic accommodations, they've enabled Pakistani scientists to conduct important research in glaciology, meteorology, and geology. Peru's Machu Picchu station, established in 1989, shows how strategic location can be just as important as elaborate engineering. Built on Crepin Point at Admiralty Bay, this station occupies one of the most accessible locations in Antarctica. The station consists of 2 insulated rectangular buildings, a main station and a smaller refuge. The main building, roughly 15 by 15 meters, contains both living quarters and laboratory facilities in a compact, efficient design. What's exciting is Peru's recent announcement that they're planning to upgrade Machu Picchu from a summer-only facility to a year-round station. This involves adding prefabricated modules and expanding the infrastructure to support continuous occupation. Ecuador's approach to Antarctic engineering emphasizes efficiency and gradual expansion. Their Pedro Vicente Maldonado station on Greenwich Island started with a capacity of 22 people and has been systematically upgraded to accommodate 32. The station features distinctive red-colored prefabricated buildings covering about 908 square meters of floor space. What's clever about the design is how it's positioned on ice-free ground near bird colonies, allowing researchers to study Antarctic wildlife without disturbing the environment. The complex includes specialized facilities like a 22 square meter medical room, conference spaces, and multiple science laboratories. Power comes from diesel generators, but the modular design allows for easy expansion and upgrades. Ecuador operates just this one seasonal Antarctic station, but they've focused on making it highly functional rather than simply large. Bulgaria's Antarctic presence began in 1988 with two simple prefabricated huts. But what they've built since then tells a story of gradual expansion and cultural adaptation. The original wooden modules on Livingston Island have been expanded multiple times. In the late 1990s, they added a multi-purpose concrete and steel building for dormitories, labs, and kitchen facilities. But here's what makes it special. In 2003, they built the St. Ivan Rilski Chapel, the first Eastern Orthodox chapel in Antarctica. This might seem like a luxury, but it represents something important about long-term Antarctic operations. When people spend months in isolation, maintaining cultural and spiritual connections becomes crucial for psychological well-being. The station also operates Bulgaria's Antarctic post office, adding another touch of civilization to this remote outpost. Spain's Juan Carlos I base was originally built in 1988 with basic containerized modules. The station was completely rebuilt between 2018 and 2019. The new design features steel frame buildings clad with fiberglass panels mounted on legs that allow snow to flow underneath. This seemingly simple design element solves one of Antarctica's biggest problems, snow accumulation that can bury entire buildings. What's impressive is how they doubled the station's capacity from 27 to 51 people while adding extensive laboratory space. The buildings are connected by enclosed corridors, and no person lives there in winters. Italy's Mario Zucchelli station represents one of the most ambitious engineering projects in Antarctic history. As a seasonal facility operating from mid-October to mid-March, Zucchelli has served as Italy's primary Antarctic gateway since its establishment in 1985. Built from 82 shipping containers, 42 for accommodation and services, 40 for laboratories and workshops, it covers an impressive 7,500 square meters. The containers are mounted on raised steel piers 1.5 meters above the ground, creating an elevated city that allows wind to flow underneath. This design prevents snow accumulation while providing stable foundations for sensitive scientific equipment. What makes Zucchelli particularly important is its role as a logistics hub. The station supports operations at Concordia Station, the joint French-Italian facility located 1,100 kilometers inland. Everything that goes to Concordia, people, supplies, equipment, passes through Zucchelli first. Italy operates 2 Antarctic stations, and Zucchelli can accommodate about 120 people during the summer season. It's equipped with specialized laboratories for geology, oceanography, and astrophysics, plus a wind turbine system that supplements their diesel generators. Uruguay's General Artigas station, established on December 22, 1984, has a special distinction. It's one of the smallest countries to maintain a year-round Antarctic presence. This permanent station accommodates up to 60 people during summer and maintains a winter crew of 8. The station has grown from a single wood and steel hut to a complex of insulated prefabricated modules. The engineering here focuses on reliability and self-sufficiency. The station includes a diesel power plant, diesel electric heating system, and even a lake water supply system that provides fresh water year-round. This might sound simple, but creating reliable utilities in Antarctica is incredibly challenging. Uruguay actually operates 2 Antarctic stations. Their second facility, El Chiribaheti Base, is a seasonal station on the Antarctic Peninsula that started as a British facility transferred to Uruguay in 1997. The Czech Republic's J.G. Mendel Station, established on February 22, 2007, after construction from 2005 to 2006, showcases how newer stations can incorporate lessons learned from decades of Antarctic engineering. This seasonal station, administered by Masaryk University in Brno, is built on James Ross Island and accommodates up to 20 researchers during the summer months. The station features a central wooden building surrounded by converted shipping containers. The main building measures 26.5 by 11.5 meters and houses 12 sleeping rooms, plus communal facilities and laboratories. What's clever is how they've used 9 converted containers for specialized functions: generator housing, workshops, storage, and equipment garages. All the units are connected by elevated walkways. That protects researchers from weather while moving between facilities. The station also incorporates wind turbines and solar panels to reduce diesel consumption. Named after Gregor Johann Mendel, the father of modern genetics, this seasonal facility supports research in glaciology and biology in a volcanically active region, operating only during the Antarctic summer when its 20-person capacity can be fully utilized. South Africa's Sane 4 station solved one of Antarctica's most persistent problems by becoming the first South African base built on solid rock rather than shifting ice. Located on Wesleskavet Nunatak, meaning Little Barren Mountain, 220 kilometers inland from the coast at 850 meters above sea level, this station represents a major engineering achievement. Built in the late 1990s and occupied in 1998, the facility consists of 3 linked double-story modules, A, B and C blocks, each measuring 44 meters long by 14 meters wide, creating a total floor area of 3,300 square meters. The brick and steel structure is built on stilts that allow snow to blow underneath, preventing the burial problems that plagued earlier South African stations. Construction was completed by Department of Public Works building teams over 4 summer seasons, with all materials sourced from South Africa and shipped in containers. The modules house science labs, living quarters, earth and oceanography facilities, and support systems. What makes Sane 4 particularly impressive is its permanence. Previous South African stations had to be abandoned as they sank into the ice or were buried by snow. By building on rock, they created a facility that can operate indefinitely. After 18 years of operation, the station recently underwent major refurbishment. South Africa operates 3 stations total, Sane 4 in Antarctica, plus 2 facilities on subantarctic islands. Sane 4 serves as headquarters for the South African National Antarctic Programme. Our final station has perhaps the most interesting origin story. Romania's Lor Racovita Negoita station began life as an Australian facility built in 1986. When Australia consolidated their operations, they transferred the entire station to Romania, which was inaugurated as a Romanian station on January 13, 2006. Located in the Larseman Hills on a rocky area 3 kilometers from Ingrid Christensen Coast at 65 meters above sea level, the facility sits just 2 kilometers from both China's Zhongshan Station and Russia's Progress Station. The station consists of 1 large laboratory building plus 5 distinctive red-domed dormitories, all constructed from anti-corrosive and insulating materials inherited from Australia. The buildings are mounted on adjustable platforms designed for minimal environmental impact, with connecting corridors creating a functional complex that Romania has adapted for their specific research needs. This transfer represents something important about Antarctic cooperation. Rather than abandoning functional infrastructure, nations can pass facilities to other countries that will use them effectively. Romania became the 26th nation to operate an Antarctic station through this arrangement. The station supports seasonal operations focused on geology, climate research, and environmental monitoring. Antarctica is unlike any other place on Earth, and the way we build here says a lot about where science, strategy, and survival are headed. And we're not done yet. We go even deeper. You'll see the US station at the South Pole, Russia's base on drifting glacial ice, China's futuristic star-shaped facility, and the UK's research base that can literally walk away from danger. If you thought this was extreme, you haven't seen anything yet. Make sure you're subscribed because this continent is changing fast, and we're not done exploring it. Building anything in Antarctica is like assembling IKEA furniture in the middle of a snowstorm. Except the snowstorm never ends, and forgetting a single bolt could mean waiting a full year for the next delivery. Since there are no roads, everything must be flown in or shipped during the brief summer window. Construction teams rely on cargo planes like the LC-130 Hercules, fitted with retractable skis, or supply ships that have only a few precious weeks to reach coastal stations before the sea ice closes in. Most buildings arrive pre-made, modular structures tested and packed like giant flat packs. Once unloaded, They're reassembled by teams racing against the weather. Blue ice runways and compacted snow roads make it possible to reach inland bases, but even then, temperatures can drop below minus 50 degrees Celsius, and winds can shut everything down in minutes. Work crews sleep in insulated containers, wear heated suits, and use specialized tools that won't crack in the cold. A construction delay isn't just inconvenient, it can leave millions of dollars in equipment frozen in place until the next summer. And yet, against all odds, dozens of nations have done just that. But not all Antarctic stations are built the same way. Some hug the coast, others stand alone on high plateaus or shifting ice shelves. Each one reflects the vision and the limitations of the country that built it. So let's take a closer look at the key players on the ice. Who's building what, where, and how do these frozen outposts actually work? United States. At the heart of America's Antarctic operations is McMurdo Station, a frozen city built on volcanic rock at the southern tip of Ross Island. In summer, it becomes the largest community on the continent, housing over 1,000 scientists and support staff. Its facilities include labs, dorms, a power plant, workshops, and yes, even a coffee shop. But McMurdo is more than just a base. It's the logistical backbone of the entire U.S. Antarctic program. Supplies arrive by cargo ship or C-17 aircraft and are distributed inland by LC-130 ski-equipped planes or massive tractor convoys along the South Pole Traverse, a 995-mile snow highway that takes 40 days each way. McMurdo's transformation is now underway. In 2019, the U.S. launched the Antarctic Infrastructure Modernization for Science (AIMS) project, a $300 million effort to replace more than 100 aging buildings with just 6 ultra-efficient interconnected structures. These new facilities are being built using prefabricated modules designed in the U.S., shipped in containers, and assembled on site to minimize construction time and environmental impact. The buildings are oriented to reduce snowdrift, equipped with triple-pane windows, and insulated to an R value of 72, up to 7 times the rating of a typical home. Indoor community spaces, including wellness centers and lounges, are designed to support mental health and collaboration during the long, dark winter months. McMurdo is being reshaped into one of the greenest and most advanced science hubs on the continent. Further inland lies Amundsen Scott South Pole Station, perched at 90 degrees south atop 2,850 meters of shifting glacial ice. Completed in 2010, the station is engineered for survival. Its chamfered structure deflects wind and rests on hydraulic jacks that raise the entire building to stay above the snow, which accumulates at about 20 centimeters per year. Power is provided by diesel generators, with waste heat recycled to melt ice into drinking water. In summer, solar panels contribute up to 14% of the station's energy. Inside, a NASA-designed greenhouse grows fresh produce year-round. Outside, some of the world's most advanced telescopes peer into the depths of space, studying cosmic microwave background radiation from one of the clearest and darkest skies on Earth. But if McMurdo is a city, Russia's station feels more like a moon base. Ready to meet the coldest place on Earth? Russia. Perched at 3,488 meters above sea level, Vostok Station holds the record for the coldest natural temperature ever recorded on Earth, minus 89.2 degrees Celsius. The air here is dangerously thin, just 60% of the oxygen found at sea level, and the nearest coastal station, Progress, is 1,400 kilometers away. Getting supplies in means organizing weeks-long convoys of tracked vehicles across the ice, braving some of the most brutal weather on the planet. In 2024, Russia unveiled a new wintering complex at Vostok, bringing the station into the modern era. The 140-meter-long facility is made up of 5 interconnected modules, all elevated on 36 steel pylons to keep them above drifting snow. Each module was prefabricated in Russia and hauled across the continent in pieces, a logistical marathon that took multiple seasons to complete. Inside, the station is a fortress against the cold. The modules are wrapped in 80 centimeter thick insulated walls, and diesel exhaust is recycled through heat recovery systems to keep living quarters warm. Solar panels, experimental for now, help supplement power during the short polar summer. The new complex supports up to 35 researchers in summer and 15 in winter, and includes everything from a medical unit and gym to a sauna and even a cinema room. Essentials when you're living in the most isolated corner of the world. Vostok isn't just about endurance, it's about science. The station sits atop Lake Vostok, a subglacial body of water buried under 4 kilometers of ice. Drilling projects here offer clues about Earth's climate history, and perhaps even microbial life in environments that mirror the icy moons of Jupiter and Saturn. Russia built for endurance, but China is building for expansion, and their network? It's growing fast. China. China has rapidly expanded its Antarctic footprint over the past 4 decades. It now operates 5 research stations spanning coastal rocks, inland plateaus, and some of the highest and coldest points on the continent. This network forms a logistical chain from the ocean to the roof of Antarctica, supporting China's growing polar ambitions. At the heart of this push is Kinling Station, China's newest base, opened in 2024 on Inexpressible Island near the Ross Sea. Designed in the shape of the Southern Cross constellation, it houses up to 80 researchers in summer and 30 in winter. More than 60% of its energy comes from renewables, solar panels, wind turbines, and hydrogen cells, making it one of the greenest facilities on the continent. Built with prefabricated modules and strict environmental standards, it includes a helicopter pad, waste treatment system, and modern logistics wharf. Great Wall Station, China's first Antarctic base, was established in 1985 on the Fildes Peninsula in West Antarctica. Built on solid rock in just 40 days, it operates year-round and includes 2 historic monuments. Its scientific work spans geology, meteorology, and oceanography, and it recently added hydroponic systems to grow fresh produce on site. On the eastern side of the continent, Zhongshan Station was opened in 1989 and serves as China's key coastal logistics hub for inland expeditions. Located in the Lasman Hills, it supports up to 120 people during summer and plays a central role in polar atmospheric research and monitoring ice-ocean interactions. It was officially designated as a National Field Observation Station in 2005. That's just the coast. Let's head inland into thinner air, higher altitudes, and even harsher extremes. Further inland is Taishan Station, a summer-only facility perched at 2,621 meters above sea level. Opened in 2014, it serves as a relay post between Zhongshan and Kunlun. Though small, housing about 20 people, Taishan plays a key role in supporting glaciology and atmospheric science missions in the interior. At the extreme limit of human habitation lies Kunlun Station, positioned atop Dome A, the highest point on the Antarctic Plateau at 4,087 meters. Opened in 2009 and operational only in summer, Kunlun is a launch point for some of China's most ambitious science. Researchers here drill deep ice cores to study Earth's climate history stretching back over 1 million years. The site also hosts the Chinese Small Telescope Array, C-STAR, and will be home to the Kunlun Dark Universe Survey Telescope, K-DUST, expected to begin operations in 2025. Supporting all of this are China's 2 icebreakers, Zulong and Zulong 2, which ferry cargo and personnel between mainland ports and Antarctic bases. With its growing network, China is positioning itself not only as a scientific leader, but as a permanent stakeholder on the last continent. From permanent outposts to relocatable labs, the UK takes a very different approach, sometimes on skis. United Kingdom. The UK's Antarctic presence is defined by engineering ambition and adaptability, embodied by 2 flagship stations, Rothera and Halley 6. Rothera Research Station on Adelaide Island is the main British base in Antarctica, and it's currently undergoing a massive transformation. At the heart of this upgrade is the Discovery Building, a 4,500 square metre facility designed to consolidate old structures into one sleek, sustainable hub. Built in Britain and shipped south in pieces, it was assembled on site under brutal conditions. Its aerodynamic form faces into the wind, using a massive deflector to channel gusts away and reduce snow buildup. But this isn't just about wind resistance. Triple glazed windows, composite insulation panels, and rooftop solar arrays all help reduce emissions by 25%. A smart building system adjusts lighting, water, and heating based on occupancy, cutting energy waste. And inside, colourful, open-plan workspaces, natural lighting, and even plant-friendly areas help keep morale high during long polar winters. Further south, on the Brunt ice shelf, sits Halley 6, the world's first fully relocatable research station. It's built on hydraulic legs with skis, so when the ice shelf starts to crack, the station can literally be towed to safer ground. And in 2017, that's exactly what happened. Facing a growing fissure, Halley was dragged 23 kilometres inland, each module hauled across the ice by tractors in one of the most extreme moves ever attempted in Antarctica. The station is made up of 8 interlinked modules clad in insulated composite panels, designed to handle temperatures that can plunge below minus 50 degrees Celsius. Inside, there's more than just lab space. There's a library, a climbing wall, lounges, and even a pool table. These aren't luxuries. In an environment where months pass without sunlight, good design is vital to mental health. Halley 6 has already made history, most famously for helping uncover the ozone hole in 1985. Today, it continues to lead atmospheric research, monitoring space weather, ice shelf dynamics, and long-term climate patterns. But while most stations face the coast or float on ice, one stands alone in the heart of the continent, where Earth starts to feel a lot like Mars. France and Italy. High on the Antarctic plateau, where the air is thin and the cold cuts deeper than almost anywhere else on Earth, stands Concordia Station, a joint French-Italian outpost at Dome Sea. Perched at 3,233 meters above sea level and surrounded by ice nearly as thick, Concordia is one of the most remote research bases on the planet. Temperatures fall below minus 80 degrees Celsius, and for 9 months of the year, it's completely cut off. No planes, no resupply, no visitors. Just silence. But what looks like isolation is actually a scientific goldmine. Concordia's twin towers, each with 3 levels, rest on 6 hydraulic legs that can be raised to stay above the accumulating snow, about 10 centimeters a year. The buildings are prefabricated steel cylinders, insulated with thick polyurethane panels and designed to handle 70 degrees Celsius temperature swings between summer construction and winter habitation. Getting the parts here wasn't easy. More than 3,000 tons of equipment were hauled in convoys from Dumont d'Urville and Mario Zucchelli stations, journeys that took up to 12 days across the ice. Inside, the station is split between quiet and noisy towers, connected by an elevated corridor. Living quarters, medical bays, and even fold-out beds for rotation periods are on one side. The other holds workshops, kitchens, and research spaces. Power comes from diesel generators with waste heat recycled to melt snow into drinking water. A wastewater recycling system reduces the need to haul in extra supplies, a crucial feature when you're over 1,000 kilometers from the nearest coast. And while it's freezing outside, Concordia is a hotbed for research. Located near the site of the famous Epica project, the station plays a key role in drilling ice cores that date back 800,000 years, and scientists are now aiming for 1.5 million. Its high altitude and low humidity also make it ideal for atmospheric studies and astronomy. But perhaps Concordia's most unique role isn't what's studied outside, but what's observed within. The European Space Agency uses the station as a stand-in for a Mars base. The crew spend months in total isolation, dealing with darkness, confinement, and limited oxygen, conditions eerily close to a future interplanetary mission. Here, the human body and mind are tested in ways few places on Earth can replicate. And then there's Australia, a country that's quietly mastering the art of modular, sustainable living on the edge of the world. Australia. In Antarctica, Australia runs 3 permanent stations, each uniquely adapted to its environment and each pushing the limits of engineering, logistics, and sustainability. Casey Station sits on the windswept coast of East Antarctica, where blizzards roar in from the sea. To survive, its buildings are lifted on stilts, allowing fierce winds to sweep underneath instead of piling snow against the walls. Elevated walkways and wind-resistant tunnels connect the station's bright red modules, all built using the Australian Antarctic Building System, a modular prefabricated approach perfected in Hobart, Tasmania. The entire emergency power plant, for example, was assembled in just 1 day. Casey's insulation is no joke. Steel-clad panels with 100 millimeters of foam protect residents from temperatures that routinely plunge well below freezing. But amid the science and stormproofing, there's room for fun. Splinters, the station's bar, even has its own microbrewery. In Antarctica, morale matters. Davis Station, by contrast, enjoys a rare Antarctic luxury, solid ground. It's built in the Vestfold Hills, one of the continent's largest ice-free areas. That stability makes it ideal for big plans, including a proposed 2.7-kilometre paved runway. If built, it would be the first in Australia's Antarctic network to allow year-round air access, even during the long polar night. Davis is also undergoing a massive $450 million upgrade to modernise its infrastructure, replacing decades-old systems with energy-efficient modules, a new power plant, and a seawater desalination system using reverse osmosis. Buildings feature award-winning composite insulation materials and open interiors designed for comfort and mental well-being, with lounges, cinemas, and views of the ice outside. It's Antarctic living reimagined. And then there's Mawson Station, the oldest continuously operating base in Antarctica, founded in 1954. Built on exposed rock at Horseshoe Harbour, it avoids the snow burial problems that plague other stations. But Mawson's claim to fame isn't just age, it's wind. In one of the planet's windiest spots, Australia has been running wind turbines since 2003. During peak performance, they provide up to 30% of the station's power, reducing reliance on diesel. Like the others, Mawson was rebuilt in the 70s and 80s using modular and bus designs, allowing for quick construction and long-term resilience. It also hosts a cosmic ray observatory underground and supports long-term climate research that helps scientists understand changes far beyond the Antarctic Circle. From windswept coasts to the highest plateau on Earth, these stations are more than just outposts. They're laboratories, lifelines, and feats of engineering. They're built not just to study the world, but to survive it. Antarctica may be remote, but the science done here echoes everywhere, from rising sea levels to space weather, climate models to the search for life beyond Earth. And with each new building, each upgraded lab, and each long winter survived, these frozen strongholds push the limits of what's possible. But what do you think? Which of these stations impressed you the most? Should nations invest more in Antarctic science, or are the challenges simply too great? Let us know in the comments, and make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more megabuild stories from the edge of the world. Let's kick things off with one of the most striking bases on the continent, South Korea's Jangbogo Station. Built on the edge of the Ross Sea, it's a perfect example of how modern design, national pride, and polar science come together in one of the harshest places on Earth. Opened in 2014, this is South Korea's second Antarctic base and one of the most modern on the continent. From the outside, it looks a bit like a stealth aircraft. That's by design. Its low-profile, aerodynamic shape was tested in wind tunnels to resist some of the fiercest gusts on Earth. The outer panels are even textured like a golf ball. Why would engineers design a building to mimic a golf ball? Turns out these dimples help cut through Antarctic winds and stop snow from sticking at all. Raised foundations let snow drift underneath instead of piling up around doors and windows. The station has 16 connected buildings covering around 4,600 square meters. It's laid out in a Y-shaped plan with one wing for science, one for living, and one for operations. That layout isn't just efficient, it's also safer. Each wing is fire-separated with multiple exits for fast evacuation if something goes wrong. Inside, insulation is taken seriously. Windows have 5 layers of glass, and the entire station is sealed to hold in heat when temperatures drop below minus 30 degrees Celsius. A combined heat and power system helps recycle energy, and the buildings are angled to block prevailing winds and maximize sunlight in summer. Getting the station here was a mission in itself. Prefabricated modules were built in Busan, South Korea, shipped to New Zealand, and then carried by Korea's icebreaker Araon across thousands of kilometers of rough seas. In summer, the station supports up to 62 researchers. In winter, it drops to about 23. But life here runs on careful limits. Data usage is so restricted that automatic smartphone updates are blocked, and residents are asked to keep online activity to a minimum. And since fresh food is rare in Antarctica, the station has its own small plant lab, a kind of indoor garden where they grow leafy greens and herbs under artificial lights. It's not just about nutrition. Having something green and alive indoors makes a difference during the long polar night. Next, we head to East Antarctica, specifically to the Utsteinian Ridge, where Belgium built one of the most ambitious Antarctic stations ever attempted. Princess Elizabeth Station was officially opened in February 2009 after 2 seasons of construction during the short Antarctic summers. It's known as the first zero-emission research station in the world, powered entirely by wind and solar energy. But getting it built was no easy task. The ridge sits on solid granite, which caused trouble right from the start. Multiple drill heads broke just trying to install the foundation. Once the anchoring was done, the rest of the station was built in Belgium, packed into 100 containers, shipped from Antwerp, and then reassembled on site. The design is compact and extremely well insulated. The wall system includes 9 different layers: aluminium, wood, insulation, and even craft paper, all selected to make the station airtight and energy efficient. Its aerodynamic shape helps it stand firm in winds that can hit 300 kilometers per hour, 190 miles per hour. Everything here runs on renewable energy. 9 wind turbines, up to 54 kilowatts total, 284 solar panels, producing about 420 kilowatt hours per day, 30 solar thermal panels for heating water, 192 battery packs for storage, and soon hydrogen fuel cells may be added for extra backup. Even the electricity is smart. A microgrid developed by ENGIE and Schneider Electric constantly balances supply and demand, keeping things efficient, stable, and safe. Princess Elizabeth can host up to 50 researchers with labs, sleeping areas, and shared spaces all packed into a compact layout. It's more than just efficient. It's also designed to leave no trace. All wastewater is treated and reused, and any trash or waste is flown out. And here's something different. In 2021, the station became home to Venturi Antarctica, the world's first electric polar exploration vehicle. Belgium Station shows what's possible when you design for efficiency from the ground up. But what if you needed to build fast and in one of the toughest places on Earth? That's exactly what India set out to do. And the result? One of the most unique stations in Antarctica, built from shipping containers and designed to leave almost no trace. India's Bharathi Station, located in the Larsaman Hills along Pradesh Bay, is the first Antarctic research base in the world built entirely from modified shipping containers, 134 of them to be exact. Prefabricated in Germany and shipped via Antwerp and Cape Town, the station was assembled in just 127 days during Antarctica's short summer window and officially opened in March 2012. Look closely and you'll notice this station doesn't actually sit on the ice. It floats above it on stilts. Why? Because even a single snowstorm can bury ground-level doors in hours. Wind tunnel testing helped shape its aerodynamic design, while stiff Y-shaped columns in the front and a concrete core in the back keep it steady in wind gusts of up to 200 miles per hour, 322 kilometers per hour. Inside, the ground floor is all science, labs, storage and technical systems. The second floor is for living, single and double rooms, a kitchen, gym, library, office space, and even a small operating theatre. Up top, the third level houses air systems and opens to a rooftop terrace. Power comes from 3 kerosene-fueled combined heat and power CHP units. The heat they generate while producing electricity is reused to warm the entire station. There's no central heating system, just smart energy use. Bharathi also supports space research. It's used by India's space agency, ISRO, to receive satellite data and beam it back to India in real time. The whole thing is designed to be removed without leaving a trace, in line with the Antarctic Treaty's environmental rules. And with a 25-year operational life, it's built to last, quietly proving that modular, efficient, and compact design can still pack a scientific punch. Oh, and India is one of only 9 countries with more than one research station inside the Antarctic Circle. It currently operates 2 active stations, Bharathi and Maitri, with a third, Dakshin Gangotri, now serving as a supply base. Other countries with multiple stations include the US, Russia, China, and Australia. While India is expanding its scientific reach across multiple sites, Brazil faced a very different kind of challenge, starting over from scratch, and what they built next became one of the most impressive comebacks on the continent. In 2012, a fire tore through Brazil's original base in Antarctica, destroying nearly everything. But instead of giving up, Brazil made a decision to come back stronger. After years of planning and a $100 million investment, the country opened a brand new station in 2020, and it's not just bigger, it's smarter. The new facility spans 4,500 square meters, almost double the size of the original. It's made up of 2 sleek, linear buildings raised off the ground on stilts. That design helps keep snow from piling up around entrances. It also works with the terrain, making it easier to assemble and more efficient to move between areas during storms. The station was designed by Studio 41, a Brazilian architecture firm that brought together a team of around 15 specialists, including experts in wind resistance, geotechnics, and thermal insulation. Their goal was simple but tough: make something that could handle Antarctica's extreme weather while staying efficient and livable. To bring the design to life, Brazil partnered with the Chinese construction company CEIEC. Inside, there are 17 labs equipped for research in everything from microbiology to climate science. Some of them have high-tech gear like DNA readers, ultrafreezers, and advanced water purifiers. It's also built to support the people working here for months at a time. There's a gym, a library, and comfortable shared living spaces. Every detail, from the insulation in the walls to the solar panels and wind turbines on the roof, was designed to balance sustainability and comfort. The entire structure was prefabricated and shipped to Antarctica over several seasons, with construction only happening during the short summer window. Even the location was carefully chosen, between 2 meltwater lakes and just 45 meters from the shoreline, to make the most of natural resources and protect the fragile environment. While Brazil focused on starting fresh after disaster, Germany took a different approach, designing a station that could outsmart Antarctica's biggest enemy, snow. Instead of being buried like its predecessors, Germany Neumayer 3 station was built to rise. Every year, a meter of snow piles up around it, so engineers designed the entire station to stand on 16 massive hydraulic legs. These legs can lift the 2,300-ton structure by up to a meter, keeping it above the snow line. The process is smooth enough that people inside barely notice, and it's all controlled by software that moves every leg in sync. The station itself is a 4-story steel structure, 68 meters long, 24 meters wide, and with almost 5,000 square meters of floor space. That's about the size of a small football field. Inside, there are labs, living spaces, a kitchen, offices, and even an underground garage dug into the snow. New Maya 3 was also shaped to handle brutal Antarctic winds. Engineers tested it in wind tunnels to find the most aerodynamic design, and because it sits on a floating ice shelf, the whole station moves about 160 meters every year toward the sea. Power comes from 3 diesel generators, with help from a wind turbine to save fuel. And when the station eventually reaches the end of its life, it can be fully dismantled, leaving almost nothing behind. Planning started in 1999, construction began in 2007, and the station opened in 2009. It cost around €39 million and is designed to last 25 to 30 years. Today, it's one of the most advanced polar research stations in the world and a blueprint for how to survive and thrive in the harshest places on Earth. Germany's Numero 3 might be a marvel of modern engineering, but now let's travel back in time to one of the earliest Antarctic outposts still in use today. Japan's Saiwa station has been active for nearly 70 years, and it's still going strong. Japan's Saiwa station has been running non-stop since 1957. That makes it one of the oldest continuously operating stations in Antarctica. The oldest one is Argentina's Okadas station, which was established in 1904 and a symbol of Japan's return to global science after World War II. It's located on East Ongul Island, just 4 kilometers off the coast of Antarctica. Because it's right by the sea, the climate is a bit milder than at stations farther inland. Even in winter, average temperatures hover around minus 10 degrees Celsius, and wind speeds are less intense than in the center of the continent. When it first opened, Saiwa had just 4 small buildings. Today, it's grown into a complex of around 70 structures, spread across more than 7,000 square meters. That includes living quarters, power plants, storage, science labs, and monitoring stations. It's a self-contained scientific village on the ice. To deal with the snow, most of the buildings are raised about a meter above the ground on concrete supports. This stops snow from piling up around the walls. The station has also been rebuilt and expanded over time, including a major construction project in 1993 that added a large central building made with fireproof timber and new joinery systems. That single building alone took over 2,000 person days to complete. Inside Saiwa, Japanese researchers study everything from atmospheric gases to cosmic rays. In 2018, they even installed new cosmic ray detectors in 2 refrigerated shipping containers. They also monitor CO2 and methane levels, track long-term climate data, and study the Earth's magnetic field. And here's a fun detail. Because teams rotate every year, they've developed systems to pass on knowledge between construction crews so nothing is lost. Some buildings on site are still standing from the 1960s. Proof of how carefully this station is maintained. While Japan's Saiwa station shows how endurance and tradition can keep a base running for over 65 years, Poland is taking a different approach, starting fresh. Poland, Henryk Arctowski Station, located on King George Island, just 75 meters off the Antarctic mainland, is being completely rebuilt. The new version is designed to handle snow, storms, and shifting ice much better than before. And it's not just about survival. It's also about comfort, science, and sustainability. The entire new station is being built in Poland, then shipped down in 113 containers. Everything from walls to water systems is prefabricated to make the most of Antarctica's short summer construction window. Once assembled, the structure will sit on steel stilts, 3 meters above ground to prevent snow from piling up. The building's shape is inspired by an upside-down airplane wing, an aerodynamic form that hugs the ground in high winds. It'll be clad in shiny copper-aluminium alloy, giving the station a golden appearance that also resists salt, wind, and corrosion. Inside, wooden finishes and nautical-inspired rooms will help soften the harsh exterior environment. There's also smart engineering throughout. Some parts of the building can be shut down during winter to save energy. A greenhouse will grow fresh produce year-round. Melted glacier water will feed into a reservoir for drinking and daily use. And wind turbines will help power the station, along with upgraded fuel and water systems. Every room will have big windows for natural light and panoramic Antarctic views. The rebuild is expected to cost around $40 million, with the Polish government increasing funding in 2024 to support the upgrades. Once complete, likely by 2027, the station will house up to 70 people in summer and around 20 in the winter. From wind-powered labs to buildings that rise above the snow, these Antarctic outposts show what humans can build, even in places nature never meant us to stay. They're more than just buildings. They're lifelines for science, strategy, and survival. Which one would you want to visit or live in for a season? Let us know in the comments. And if you want more megabuild stories like this from the edge of the world and beyond, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching it, and see you in the next one.